Imagine doing everything in life with for loops, like manually checking each card in a Rolodex. Rust says, relax, use iterators and closures. They're like autopilot for data. Now, closures are a little anonymous functions you can pass around. Iterators let you chain powerful operations together without writing boilerplate. On screen, as you can see, all do the same thing, but closures scale better when passed into higher order functions. Moving on, let's do a demo. So iter gives us references one by one. Behind the scenes, Rust turns this into efficient loop code. Zero overhead. As you can see here, we have a v, and we're setting it to vector, and we can actually check the vector's iteration by doing v.iter. And then for v in v.iter, we can get the value. Now map transforms items, filter keeps only what matches, and collect pulls it into a vector. Chain them together, and you've got a data pipeline. As you can see here, we have v, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have a value called doubled. We're going to do v.iter, and then .map. X is our index. We're going to multiply that by 2, and then we're going to collect it. And so each value will be multiplied by 2. Now, some iterator methods consume the iterator. Some just adapt it. That's why you see into iter, and iter mutable. So, time to give our task manager superpowers. Instead of manual loops, we'll filter and transform tasks with iterators plus closures. So, we're going to start with task.rs. You see that we have this mark done function. Let's see if there's anything else here. Great. So we're actually going to move that out. And why we're going to move this out? We're going to actually create a status implementation for this. So in status, we're going to call it that, and we're going to give it this. So now status has a implementation of mark done. And what are we going to do here? Well, we're going to do a self, and we're going to call it a boolean. And we're going to check matches self, and status is done. And that's it. So what this is going to do is it's going to mark each one of these as done if it matches. And this is technically an iterator for it. Same thing with print card. So we originally had this print card. Well, we're going to now add some more into our print card. We're going to now do a status here. Status is going to be this, right? And so we have T priority, T extra, T tag, and T dot status. And it's going to, we're going to iterate through the task print card, and we're going to do status as well. Okay, moving on, we're going to update our save tasks. As you can see here, we're using a for loop here for our tasks, and what we're going to do instead is we're going to create iterators for it. So let's get to it. So what are we going to do? Well, we already have something technically that does this. So we have tasks, and tasks is a vector, and vectors already have iterators in them. So we're just going to call that. Okay. And just like that. Boom. Okay, so we got rid of the for loop and we've now made it a iterator, and we're still doing t. As you can see here, we've still called it t, and we're keeping everything as it was. All we did is we changed it from a for loop to an iterator. Okay, moving on, we are now going to change our load tasks just like we did our save tasks. The load tasks might be a little bit more than what we did with our save tasks, so let's get to it. So previously we had a let mutable tasks, and we called it a vector, and we gave it a vector new. Well, this time we don't need to do that. Why? Well, because we're going to just grab from s, which is our string, right, that we've read from, and we're just going to tell it grab all the lines. Let me grab all the lines, filter the lines for L, and we're going to make sure that it's is not empty. So if it's not empty, then we know it's there's something in there. And then after we filter, we're going to filter for the we're going to filter a little bit more. So previously we filtered the line, and now we're going to go inside the line, and we're going to check each part of the line, right? So we're going to call a vector and string mutable. We're going to grab the line, we're going to split it again by our walls or our pipes, and we're going to collect them. Okay, once we've done that, we're going to then go and grab each one that is greater than 7. If this is greater than 7, then we're just going to stop it at just that. And once we've filtered for this, then we're going to map them. So now we've got all of the parts proper. So we filtered for the parts, we made sure they're not greater than 7, and now we're going to map the parts again and give them our title, which is our parts 0 to string. And let's see if I can copy some of this stuff here. Maybe I don't want to redo the work. There we go. We're going to grab the tag, we're going to grab the status. We're going to pretty much do everything we did here, so we're just going to grab all of this. Status is done. And then let's grab the task type as well. And let's grab the description and mutable maybe. And let's grab the description. Okay. And just like that, we're going to place T. And we're going to then collect, and we're going to return tasks. And boom. We've replaced our for loop with now an iterator that goes through tasks using S, splits lines, filters, make sure they're not empty. Filters again for our walls, make sure they're not greater than 7, then we map them to what we think they should be, and then we collect them. So for example here, we can look here. So this is our first line. Is it greater than 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. Great. So then this gets cut into 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Right? Just like here. We have 0 for title, 2, 1 for priority, 2 for tag, 3 for the status, 4 for the parts, and then Nothing else. 1 0 1 1 2 3 4 5 0 1 2 3 4. Yeah, that's it. And then we just return tasks as a vector of tasks. All right. So previously we had this contents here. Well, just for sake, we're going to call it tasks, just so we can keep it in the same, with the same naming convention here. And instead of it being a string, it's actually considered a task, right? With no extra. And we're going to return a and string. Okay, so nothing here changes. We're just going to call this tasks. I'm going to do, instead of lines, we need to now iterate through, right? Because it's not a string anymore. And for filtering, we're going to do a filter here of t.title to lowercase, and then we make sure that it contains our query that we're looking for or our description. So we can look for either of these things. And then once we're done with that, we collect. And that's it. So instead of now searching for contents in a string, we're now searching for tasks. And we're checking to make sure that our query has one of these things in it. And we're counting. All right, moving on. What we're going to do now is we're going to implement the CLI that we had done print statements for previously. So let's move on to that. Okay, so we're in main.rs. Before we move on, as you can see, we have some for loops still, so we're going to get rid of them. So for this one, for list tasks, what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of that. We're not needing this to be a vector anymore. Technically, we can just have it be a task, right, with an and task of no extra. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab each of the task. We're going to put it in a vector of no extra. So as you can see, because we have tasks, we're going to iterate through the tasks, and we're going to put them in this view, and we're going to sort them by our keys. And we're going to check the status. If it's done, then we don't want them to show up. And we're going to also show our priorities from highest. Okay. And we're going to iterate through this for each one. And then we're going to print the card for each one. There we go. So now our list tasks grabs all of our tasks, sorts them by key, and then prints them. Moving on, we're going to need a new function. We're going to call it delete by title, because we did have a command that we were going to need to make anyways. So we're going to call it a vector task, no extra. Here, we call it a title. We're going to give it a title of this. And this is going to give us back, for now, just a usize. Sure. So, create a length of it. So this is previously. This is how big our task was. Now we're going to grab the one that has the title, and then we're going to minus that by the thing, and this is going to delete basically the task with the title. Yeah. All right, moving on. We're going to finally work on the run here. If you weren't watching the previous video, this is when we changed our app from a single execution to now a CLI tool that will work in anywhere basically. So let's do the first one, which is add task. So we're going to grab the title. So we're going to ask for a title, right? So that's going to be our title. Then we're going to grab the priority. This is going to be our priority. Sorry. This is the priority. Because it's a string technically right now, so we have to parse it. All right, and then we're going to ask for the type. Is it email? Is it video edit? Or is it research? And the choice, we're going to let them choose here. Creating the input field. We're going to grab it as a string, and we're going to decide on our task type depending on what they chose. Was it an email? Was it an email? Was it a video edit? Or was it a topic? And if it was, create input field. Yeah, there we go. Otherwise, it's a wildcard, and we're just going to call it Tice type email. That's our wildcard for that. And that's pretty much it. Now we're just going to add the task into our task with our priorities found and the type it is, and then we're going to save it. And we're going to say it's been added. All right, that's the first one. All right, I think it's been about a day since I did this guy for our add task. I just went ahead and did this offline, but basically it's not that bad. All you're doing is you're grabbing your list tasks that we created previously, and you're just going through and you're printing for each one in your tag counts. After that, we also have title to delete. We created the input field before. We created the delete by title, and then if it's removed is greater than 0, we save it as part of our new tasks. And then finally, the last one is we have the third one, which is, I think, search task. So you give it a query, it creates the queue, and it goes into search tasks and finds it, and it prints the card. And that's pretty much it. So as you can see here, when I do cargo run, you'll see I have my task manager CLI up. And so we can, before we add a task, we can just print all the tasks. And it's a little small, so you can't see them, but there you go, boom. So it prints all my tasks in order of priority. So my task, the one I created, is called my task. It's first, then edit video. So let's delete the task. We're gonna delete my task. Removed, and as you can see, when we print it again, it's gone now. And let's say this is good enough for now. We quit. Now, if we look here at our task.txt, it's not there. So let's go back to the terminal. Let's go back to this guy, and let's add the task back. Call it my task. Give it another priority of 4. Say it's an email task, and then let's quit. And as you can see, my task is now here. And when we run it and we print our tasks, my task shows up. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's our CLI working as intended. We have all of our functionality. We have add task, print task, delete task, and search task. That's pretty much it. And after this, we're gonna move on to chapter 14, which we're gonna be talking about more crates and cargo in general. We're slowly entering the end of this playlist. If you've found anything that you didn't understand, or you just want more clarity, just leave it in the comments. I make sure to respond to most of my comments. If not, you can also just privately DM me if you have any projects that you think are interesting and you want some help or something. Yeah, let me know. All right, thanks so much for watching, guys, and if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. It helps a lot. Thanks. Bye.